Hello, this is David Burch at Starpath School of Navigation in Seattle with a brief, unedited, unprofessional note here on how to change the horizon, full view horizon mirror, which comes stock on a Davis plastic sextant, the Mark 25. These are not as efficient or as versatile as a regular traditional standard mirror with a glass on one side, a mirror on the other. But we want to let you know that it's very easy to change this if you happen to have this and might want to do that. So there's the mirror we're going to change. This is, by the way, what you can buy. You can buy these parts here. That's okay, let me go back and show you. Here's, you go to DavisNet, davisnet.com, and look in products, replacement parts, and you'll find this. And for $20, it's only $20 plus shipping, you get all of this. You get both mirrors, and that's for the Mark 15 mirror. You get the traditional mirror, and this is also then the index mirror, which you won't need, but it's there. And then you get all these little adjustment screws and these little nuts we'll see in a minute, and the springs. And so this is a mirror we're going to change. That's the horizon mirror. This is then called the index mirror, which is on the index arm. That's the stuff that you get to buy. Now here, looking at this, here's the first thing to look at. We're looking right straight through the full view mirror, which is glass all the way across. See these little nuts underneath here. When we take these clips off, these little nuts are going to fall out, so you want to know about that ahead of time. Let's see what we have on the next picture here. Oh, that's them. Okay, here, just for perspective, this is actually the back of, that's the mirror we're going to change over here. This is actually the back of the index mirror. It has one kind with a knob up here, and that's going into one of those little nuts that's inside underneath the mirror. And then these two are clips that are up on this boss like this. These kind of clips are hard to take off, fairly hard. This kind of clip that looks the same is actually real easy. It just slips right off. So these are the challenge. And so let's go over here and look at the next picture. Okay, so here is, let's see, what do we have here? Oh, here, I start out with a hard one. You've got the bottom one and the top one. Those are the two easy ones to get off of the horizon mirror. This is a hard one, so you might as well start with it. And you have to kind of lift up that lip. This is on that little boss. You have to use your fingernail or something and lift that up off that edge, and then you pull this straight out, and be careful it doesn't spring and bounce away. So first step is get this step up on the boss and then pull the whole spring off, and you'll see there's a groove on this side of the mirror frame, the mirror frame over here, that fits into. Let's see, what's the next picture? Oh, the next picture shows the mirror, both of those taken off. And these are this screw that fell down here has to go back up into here. It just sits in that hole. And this is the boss that's underneath here, which what I'm referring to as the hard clip to get off. It's right here. It goes right on top of that. And so you see, when you push this one, it rocks. It's springing against this on this way, and when you do this one, it's rotating the mirror back and forth this way. So this one boss and two adjustments. So now what's this picture show? Oh, this just shows them both back in place. Back in place. By the way, when you have one of these sextants, you want to look, just double check that this plastic along here is nice and even. It's actually inherently thicker on this side, this base plastic that's glued into this frame here. It's thicker here and thin on these two sides. But basically, the thickness here showing and the counterpart on the other side should be about the same. Just something to keep an eye on if you're having trouble with anything. Now, what do we have here? Okay, so we have the mirror. I guess I don't know what I'm showing here. The mirror's in place. You can see the screw underneath there, and it's resting against the boss. And now we have the two. Okay, so the first step is I put the two easy ones in to just kind of hold it in place. And notice this mirror has got facing the other side. There's a mirror here, and this is glass straight through. That obviously goes, well, not obviously, but it goes on the bottom part. And then here is where what I'm referring to as a kind of like a little bit harder clip to get on goes in. These just sit right on and screw them in, no problem. And so the clip goes in there. And so, and you have to just be patient and figure out a way to get it up on the edge here and clipped over the side. Next picture shows, now that, whoops, I did it. That's missing. Okay, here's where it's in place. So that's what it looks like when it's all done. These springs, that's over that, and that's over that. And then that's done. Now when you get the mirror in there, the first thing to double check is this reveal. This is, I'm referring to as reveal. It's this parallel, this should be about the same thickness of mirror showing, or glass or mirror, whatever, showing here and here. Notice this one's very slightly thinner here than here, means that this one has got more pressure on it. And you could, if you release this one a little bit, this might come down a little bit, but that's basically within tolerance. And here's another, here notice this also shows it. This is a thicker part of plastic and a thin part. But the part to look at is that this here and this here is the same sort of reveal on that gluing here. Another detail here, on just before we go to check to see that we got it right, is these come with a plastic cup on this, and the first thing to do is take that plastic cup off and put it somewhere. It gets in the way of the adjustment of the sextant telescope. So either just cut it back to about here, just cut the whole thing off by about here so it only goes up this far, or just remove it completely. I think it's supposed to be so you don't ding your glasses or something. So before we go out there, and then I'll just show here, the way we check it is we use this custom filter, and I'm not going to say too much about that, but refer you to this book, How to Use Plastic Sextants. And in that book, the back of that book, it explains how to make these, where to buy this special kind of filter, sun filter, and how to make, literally how to make this. This is just a piece of bookmark, one of our Starpath bookmarks, rolled up and glued, and this thing glued on. And this filter is really great because you can look right at the sun. So you set the sextant 0 degrees 0 minutes and look at the sun very carefully. You don't want to look at, you're looking through a telescope, so you want to be sure you have no holes in this, and also you don't look around the corner. But basically you're looking straight at the sun, and then you use what we discuss in our textbook as the solar method to check the index correction, which is the best way to do that. And that's what one of these, you could make them look a lot nicer, but this works just fine. Okay, so here's a check that you do before you do the index correction. And this again, in the plastic sextant book, this is outlined in detail how to do this step. But we're just checking, looking at this mirror in the index mirror to double check that the index mirror itself is perpendicular to the frame. It has nothing to do with the mirror that we've changed, but before we do the index check, we want to be sure that you see, that's a reflective view of the arc, and that's a direct view of the arc, and they should be in a line, and so forth. Let's see what else we have here to show. Oh, this is a little plastic pill bottle that we use to store. These things are fragile once they're made, and so you have to have some way to kind of store it that protects it. That's a kind of elegant way to do that. And then the last note I'll make on this exercise here, this is a picture of that telescope, and this is true for the Mark 15 or the Mark 25. These arms that hold the telescope are in fact probably the most vulnerable part of the sextant. In other words, what I mean by that is after 30 years of using hundreds of these, thousands of times probably, what we see, the only thing we've ever seen fail is these have broken. A student has maybe grabbed this or tried to pull it out too fast or too slow or pushed it or something, and this will break off. Now, that is not serious. These you see in our school, they'll just have big post office rubber bands around here and holds it right in place, and it works fine. But to avoid that, just keep an eye on that sensitivity of that. And that's all that we have to say about this. You can post a comment, I think, here, and we'll answer questions as they come up. Thank you.